Television violence. Network executives are called before Congress. The Dallas police force, a breakthrough for gays. They can now be hired as Dallas cops. And medical malpractice, a fresh idea for getting control of a runaway problem.
This is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
Good evening. Network television. Has it gone over the edge with violence, especially during critical rating periods? Many viewers and now some key members of Congress say yes. And today they called senior officials from the three major networks to explain themselves. This was not an easy assignment for the executives. NBC's Robert Hager begins our coverage tonight in Washington.
Called before a Senate subcommittee, network executives claim to be reducing violence. NBC's Warren Littlefield, CBS's Howard Stringer, and ABC Cap City's Thomas Murphy said the networks had recently set their own new standards. But then, the subcommittee played excerpts from the current ratings period called May's Sweeps, which determine advertising prices for the next 6 months. ABC, CBS, NBC.
Tim Daly is David Koresh.
You killed for me!
Senators were angry.
TV industry ought to recognize one thing and never forget it. They don't own the airwaves. They just have franchises. And what Congress giveth, Congress can take away.
Some suggested networks ought to rate programs, V for violent, and manufacturers ought to wire sets so parents could block such programs. And next year?
Are we going to get a repeat of May in the future as Murder Month?
But I would certainly hope that by next May that we would have less violence in our May sweeps.
Doing better is very important. I think next May you'll see fewer.
We will also do better at NBC next May.
Such promises have been heard before, but then so have the threats from Congress, which so far has been unwilling to do more than threaten. Robert Hager, NBC News, Washington.
There have been thousands of studies of television violence, and most come to the same conclusion, that the violence on the small screen does have a big impact on violence on the streets. NBC's George Lewis now.
How many of you think there are an awful lot of violent shows on television? The American Psychological Association says the average child viewing TV sees 8,000 murders and 100,000 acts of violence before finishing elementary school.
It's like America's Most Wanted. It's like my little brother watches it and he can't sleep sometimes at night.
Like a lot of people, they get ideas from the movies of the violence and then they go out and do the same thing.
And a lot of kids we talked to at this school in Glendale, California, said their parents don't really limit what they watch.
Not really. I don't know. They just let me watch whatever.
My parents don't know what I'm even watching because I have my own TV in my room and I watch whatever I want.
A study commissioned by TV Guide found that in a single day, television broadcast 1,846 acts of violence, including 389 assaults, 362 instances of gunplay, and 273 punches. Researchers who've studied the way kids watch TV say there is a connection between violence on the screen and violent behavior in real life. The group Mediascope, which is trying to get Hollywood to tone down the violence, produced this video in which kids in juvenile homes talk about violent acts inspired by TV shows. This girl charged with murder.
And people think that, wow, it looks so easy on television, I'm just going to go out and do it, and they don't think of the consequences ahead of time.
We have children coming into hospitals that say, why does this gunshot wound hurt? It didn't hurt them on television, because they've seen heroes get shot 20 times by an automatic weapon and they're still up fighting.
In August, Senator Paul Simon plans a summit meeting with members of the Hollywood creative community. His message to them is simple: clean up your act before Washington is forced to do it for you. George Lewis, NBC News, Los Angeles.
There was no violence in the final episode of Cheers last night, but lots of people watched. Almost two-thirds of the television sets on at the time were tuned to Cheers. That makes it the highest-rated entertainment program since ABC's The Day After in 1983. When Nightly News continues in a moment, an FBI investigation into that White House travel office. And on America Close Up, a modern warrior winning a battle in the fight for his people.
Prowler at 15 Pine.
After I got this job and the stress, I had trouble getting to sleep.
So I take Unisom to get to sleep fast. It's safe, and nothing I've tried works better.
In medical tests, people fell asleep 23 minutes faster with Unisom than without, and slept better all night.
I wake up feeling refreshed, not groggy. Let's go. Unisom works faster, so I can be at my best.
If you're concerned about regularity, these are the facts. When asked, 9 out of 10 doctors agreed they would recommend this: a high-fiber diet and Kellogg's All-Bran, so they may not have to recommend this. Finally, some advice from doctors you can actually enjoy: a high-fiber diet and Kellogg's All-Bran, doctor recommended for drug-free regularity. Now Kellogg's All-Bran has been fortified with calcium, which is important for stronger bones.
There will be an FBI investigation into the operation of the White House Travel Office. The Clinton administration fired everyone in that office on Wednesday, charging gross mismanagement and shoddy accounting. Clinton's political opposition, however, is saying there's more to this story. NBC's Jim Miklaszewski tonight.
In an attempt to put out a political firestorm, the White House took the unusual step of releasing a report that could be used in a possible criminal investigation. The report allegedly shows that in a 13-month period, the travel office wrote $18,000 in checks to cash, but had no written record as to where the money went.
The White House Press Travel Office was not being run in a professional or efficient manner.
Spokesman George Stephanopoulos could not say there was proof of any criminal activity and said that was up to the FBI. But questions have been raised about how the White House handled the affair and political cronyism. A memo written by Clinton's cousin last February indicates plans to shake up the travel office long before there were any charges of mismanagement. The 25-year-old cousin is now in charge of the travel office. The Little Rock travel agency, now handling White House travel, has past business ties to the same White House official who fired the 7 staffers in the travel office. And Clinton's close Hollywood friend, Harry Thomason, talked directly to the president about the travel office, apparently to drum up White House business for friends. Republicans accuse the White House of conflict of interest.
Real appearances of impropriety and possibly some real sleaze.
Senator Kit Bond wants to freeze the White House budget until there's an investigation. That drew an angry response late tonight from President Clinton.
Is he defending the practices? Are you defending the practices? We now have a report on this.
Clinton says all this was done to save the traveling press and the taxpayers' money. But if the White House had handled it better, it could have saved Clinton from any political damage. Jim Miklaszewski, NBC News, the White House.
More military bases around the country are facing the axe tonight. The independent commission working on base closings added 8 facilities to the list in California, Florida, Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Maine. On another front, the Pentagon is struggling with the issue of gays in the military, but there was an important step today. Pentagon recommendations were made to Defense Secretary Aspen. NBC's Ed Rabel has details tonight.
The proposals presented today to Secretary Aspen would not lift the ban on gays in the military entirely. But Pentagon sources tell NBC News the recommendations do provide gays much greater latitude. The top option, they say, continues the current policy of not asking recruits their sexual preference, will likely ban investigations of a person by his or her commander if there is a report of homosexuality, and establishes strict guidelines on discharging gays. Specifically, except where clear evidence of sexual misconduct is present, persons could be discharged only if they openly and blatantly declare their homosexuality. That's still too strict, according to Congressman Barney Frank, an avowed homosexual.
If people are willing to make a sacrifice of not talking about their own sexual orientation in a formal and official way on duty, I don't understand why they should be penalized because someone happens to overhear them or spy on them off duty.
Still, the Pentagon plan is more liberal than Senator Sam Nunn's so-called don't ask, don't tell option, which penalizes homosexuals if they so much as state their sexual preference. As happened to Lieutenant Tracy Thorne.
The only way this is ever going to work is when you start treating all Americans equally.
So the Pentagon is yielding on the gay issue despite widespread opposition to homosexuals in the military. Basically, the message to gays is this: you have a place here, just don't shout about your lifestyle. Ed Rabel, NBC News, the Pentagon.
Senator Claiborne Pell of Rhode Island made a personal plea during a debate today over a lesbian nominee for the Housing Department. Pell said his daughter, Julia, is gay, and he would want to see her treated fairly if she were the nominee. A major victory for gays in Dallas tonight. They're no longer banned from the police department. NBC's Roger O'Neill has that story.
2 words describe the new police policy towards homosexuals on the force. Don't ask. Micah England was asked 4 years ago. She didn't get the cop's job she wanted and sued, and today finally won. England is a lesbian who, now that the policy has been changed, will try again to wear the Dallas blue uniform.
It's insignificant of what they do in the bedroom of their home, and it doesn't impair their ability to do a job.
Dallas was one of the last major cities in Texas and the country to have a policy banning gays from the police force. After years of trying to uphold the policy in the courts, the city council finally gave up and directed the department to rewrite the rule. Acting Chief Robert Jackson doesn't think his straight officers will rebel when gays start riding in police cars. But he hints that any open, overt actions in public by gays or lesbian officers could still violate the department's code of conduct.
I would hope that that would not happen. I would not consider that to be professional conduct.
On the street, the decision was not met with enthusiasm.
I just can't see, personally, a homosexual and a straight person seeing eye to eye on things.
Would it bother you to ride with a gay officer?
Well, if he kept his hands to himself, I wouldn't care.
One Dallas police officer told me there is still a big macho image within the department, and accepting homosexuals as equal partners on the police force will be difficult. Roger O'Neill, NBC News, Dallas.
Peter Uberoth today resigned as co-chairman of Rebuild Los Angeles. That's the relief organization formed after last year's riots. He had helped attract business investment in the destroyed area, but critics say this group has not done enough for the hardest hit neighborhoods.
Why did Hertz invent #1 Club Gold service? To beat the rush hour. See, every plane and everybody seems to land at once. But with Gold service, there's no stopping at the counters and no paperwork. Instead, you go nonstop to your waiting car with your name in lights. Only Hertz has #1 Club Gold. The best reason yet why Hertz beats the rush hour. To Hertz, the rest of the day is a piece of cake.
Red Devil enamel. You can always count on its durable finish. Harder than ordinary paints, its beauty lasts and lasts. Red Devil enamel for the finish of a lifetime.
Dear Thompsons, I used Thompson's Water Seal waterproofer on my redwood furniture. My brother-in-law Louis used another brand on his redwood gates. After intense rain, my furniture was like new. His gates swelled shut. Thompson's has no match. Sincerely, Lowell Salzer.
So, what brings you to Clausen?
I am looking to cook pickles. I'm a pickle cook. Pickles are what I cook. Gherkins, crickets, dill, spears, chunks, chips. You name it, I'll cook it.
We don't cook our Clausen pickles.
You're kidding.
I never kid.
What about shelf life?
What about shelf life?
Most pickles sit on a shelf. You sit on a shelf. You've got to be cooked. I'm your guy. I'm a pickle cook.
What about taste?
What about taste?
We're just kind of picky about taste.
Unlike most pickles, Clausen pickles are never cooked. They're always cold, always crisp, always delicious.
Don't cook your pickles. That's funny. That's funny.
We have another tonight in our series on the health revolution, rising medical bills. One cause, of course, is malpractice and the lawsuits that follow, driving up health costs $15 billion every year. One state, Maine, is testing a program to do something about this. We get details now from NBC's Mike Jensen.
An emergency room admission at Maine Medical Center.
So it sounds like you probably had a seizure.
2 years ago, emergency room patients here were tested automatically for all sorts of things because doctors were afraid of malpractice suits. The tests were expensive for the patients and their insurance companies. Then the state passed a law setting up guidelines for doctors, a sort of checkoff list for things like neck x-rays.
Doctor, you've got patients coming in here all the time. What is the benefit to them of this checklist that you have under the new program?
Well, I think the benefits are twofold. One is that we are actually ordering fewer neck x-rays, and the second part is that they get evaluated quicker medically.
Doctors also like the fact that they can't be sued for malpractice if they follow the written checklist.
And this is sort of like the one that the police carry where they say you have the right to remain silent, you have the right to an attorney.
Yes, and to remind them that they needed to do it, and if they forgot something that they could reference the card.
The checklists have eliminated a lot of procedures in a number of specialties. Dr. Pamela Benson points to a huge decline in neck x-rays ordered in emergency rooms.
The preliminary studies show a drop of about 30%.
Listen to your heart.
Fewer babies are being delivered by cesarean section.
Since these guidelines have been established and placed in law, that actually the cesarean section rate has dropped 18% in the last year.
Radiologists are ordering fewer tests.
Mammography particularly, you tended to maybe overcall things because you were a little worried. Now that you can say, I'm following the same guidelines everybody else is, you will go more by your medical judgment than malpractice fears.
Other states are studying the Maine experiment, even though the law's protection against malpractice suits has not yet been tested in court. Mike Jensen, NBC News, Portland, Maine.
In Baton Rouge, Louisiana, it was another packed courtroom today listening to dramatic, emotional, but different accounts of the fatal confrontation between a local homeowner and a young Japanese student. More tonight from NBC's Jim Cummins.
The lawyer for Rodney Piers has insisted that the 31-year-old meat cutter believed that Japanese exchange student Yoshi Hattori was an intruder the night Piers shot him to death outside Piers' Baton Rouge home. Today, the authorities released the 911 audio tapes following the shooting last October. Piers' wife, Bonnie, made the call.
911. My husband just shot someone. They came up to our door, and he told him to leave, and he wouldn't, so he shot him.
The prosecution also played a tape of the police interrogation of Piers several hours later. He said, I thought I heard the doorbell ring. His wife looked out and she hollered at me to go get the gun. Piers got his .44 Magnum pistol, went outside and said he saw a man coming toward him. He was waving something in his hand. I pointed my gun toward him. He seemed to speed up a little bit, and I guess I must have shot him.
Maybe Yoshi thought, tragically, that Mr. Piers was trying to scare him as a joke. And he likewise thought that he needed to scare Mr. Piers back.
Piers broke down and wept during the police interrogation, but the prosecution seems to question his sincerity because he shot a stranger who had apparently rung the doorbell and then didn't bother to help him while he lay dying in the driveway.
Doorbells ring, that's not the sign of a burglar that I know of. Not too many of them ring your doorbell and ask if they can come steal your TV.
Piers is expected to take the stand in his own defense. Jim Cummins, NBC News, Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
On Wall Street today, an increase in interest rates helped push stock prices sharply lower. Trading today was very heavy.
Alakazam! It's Color Tile's nationwide grand opening sale. Introducing our 800 DuPont Master Stores. So we zap prices. DuPont Stainmaster Carpet, $9.99 installed. New Mannington Gold Classic, low prices. Armstrong No Wax Tile, 39 cents. Marbleized Ceramic, 57% off. Wood floors, 50% off. Mini blinds, first time ever. Buy one, get four free. Wall covering, over 70% off. Color Tile's grand opening sale for our 800 DuPont Master Stores. Hurry, sale ends soon.
Athlete's foot grows beneath the surface of your skin, so that's where you have to get to cure it. Mycotin is specially formulated to penetrate the skin surface with myconazole and kill the annoying fungus right where it starts. Mycotin penetrates, Mycotin cures.
I knew something must be wrong. I was getting these sharp pains and sometimes pressure and bloating. I'm glad I asked my doctor. He said it was gas and recommended Mylanta Gas.
Mylanta Gas. It has the best medicine for gas.
If you're concerned about the sun, seek shade. A new kind of shade. Shade UVA Guard sunscreen provides more UVA protection than ordinary sunscreens. So look for shade. New Shade UVA Guard.
You ever look at all the different ways plastic makes life better? Like these plastic helmets that help make it safer to take Sam here for a ride. And plastic insulation that keeps our homes warm and saves energy. But what about these plastic foam cups? Well, they save energy too, because they take less energy to make than many other disposable cups. And they keep sodas nice and cold. Right, Sam? To learn more, call this number for a free booklet and take another look at plastic.
These gardeners have just been acclaimed world's champions. What's the secret of their success?
I use Miracle Grow and only Miracle Grow.
Miracle Grow is the best.
It's not nothing like Miracle Grow.
Hey, if world champion gardeners depend on Miracle Grow, shouldn't you?
Should teachers be allowed to date their students? It's a raging debate, and some schools don't have rules against it. Student-teacher affairs on an all-new Dateline NBC, Tuesday.
There was no let-up in Bosnia's fighting today. Diplomatic efforts to end or at least contain that war focused on the White House, meanwhile. The Russian foreign minister came calling with a plan that has been picking up Allied support. NBC's Andrea Mitchell has more tonight.
The Russians not only came, they're leading the way as the Clinton administration takes a back seat on Bosnia diplomacy. Bill Clinton listened while the Russian foreign minister described proposals that would at least temporarily permit the Serbs to keep the territory they've grabbed.
I think we have a good degree of understanding.
The plan includes something the president had previously rejected. 6 Muslim enclaves would become UN-protected safe havens, possibly with U.S. providing air cover to guard against Serbian attack. Today, Clinton was still cool to that part of the plan.
As you know, the United States is skeptical that we'll be able to satisfactorily resolve this within the framework that has been proposed, but we do want to work with our allies, and we're trying our best to reach a joint position.
But he is apparently willing to accept safe havens because the plan also includes a bigger UN border patrol to stop supplies that are still getting through to the Bosnian Serbs. Monitors in Kosovo to make sure the violence does not spread. U.S. troops in Macedonia, but no U.S. peacekeepers in Bosnia itself.
I don't want to see the United States get in a position where we're recreating Northern Ireland or Lebanon or Cyprus or anything else.
The latest plan would do something Clinton has long criticized, reward Serbs for their aggression.
The U.S. is trying to get the Allies to agree that force could be used if the Serbs attack the safe havens. But tonight, a major setback. Yugoslavia rejected a key part of the plan, the use of UN monitors along the Bosnian border. Andrea Mitchell, NBC News at the White House.
Muslim fundamentalists in Egypt are another concern for the Clinton administration, and today there was more violence in that country. A car bomb exploded in downtown Cairo, killing at least 3 people, injuring 15 others. This was the 5th terror attack there in as many months. The suspects, religious extremists seeking to overthrow the Egyptian government.
Its conquests are legend. Germ killer, plague slayer. Now Listerine faces its greatest challenge. The ever-present threat of the gum disease, gingivitis. Gingivitis, you have met your match. Listerine antiseptic. It says what it does what it says.
Under cover of darkness, you could be under attack. By land, air, even water. Unless your home's under the care and protection of Ortho. It's our nature to help.
2 years ago, the editors of Consumer's Digest named a very special car to their Best Buy list. Last year, they did it again. So this year, it was a great honor when they did it for a 3rd year running. Which means there are now Best Buys and consistently Best Buys. It's your choice.
Don't forget, it's Good Season's Shake Up Your Salad Week. Just shake up a cruet of our zesty herbs and spices and taste why we think you'll like it better than your old bottle dressing. After all, with Good Seasons, you make it fresh, you make it best.
Day after day, you make those glasses of thick Metamucil disappear. Why not make them all disappear with FiberCon? Doctor-recommended FiberCon gives you the same fiber regularity in tablets.
Easy to swallow tablets.
Get doctor-recommended FiberCon.
Are you looking for the perfect home? Your dreams may come true when Al Roker shows you how to turn your home into a dream house. Plus, Hollywood's hottest star, Sharon Stone, Saturday on Today.
On America Close Up tonight, Robert Sundance. Not to be confused with the film role of Robert Redford. This Sundance is not a movie star or a legendary outlaw, but he is a hero for his personal crusade against an American tragedy. The Native American culture has many rhythms, even in the cities of the West. Many Indians are returning to traditional values. Too many other Indians are involved in other ceremonies. Street drunks. Hardcore alcoholism is a disease crossing all tribal lines. No one knows that better than Robert Sundance.
Guy, and you accomplish a lot of things, eh?
Robert Sundance is a Sioux from the Standing Rock Reservation of South Dakota.
How you been?
And he has spent a lot of his life in the gutters of American cities.
Okay.
But then, Robert Sundance became a champion to hardcore alcoholics, especially his fellow Native Americans.
Alcohol drives you crazy.
Talk to me, man.
Just look at all the damage it's done to the Indian nations. Nobody in his right mind would drink that stuff if they knew that was going to happen.
Sundance knows more than he cares to remember about the drunk tanks across the West, where he was arrested for public intoxication more than 500 times.
That holds 500 drunks, that one.
Now he's working on his autobiography, his personal crusade against the abuse of street drunks, all in the name of law and order.
I remember the days when they just knocked the hell out of you and threw you in a paddy wagon because they figure you're drunk.
Alcohol killed most of his drinking friends. Those that didn't die were constantly near death in barroom fights, car wrecks, or jail cells. One day, coming out of an alcoholic fog, Sundance decided to fight the system that treated alcoholism as a crime. He knew it for what it is, a terrible disease that needs treatment, not incarceration.
And you're an alcoholic, and you're a sick alcoholic. Hi there. Us people are all human beings and not criminals.
He fought all the way to the Supreme Court and won. In 39 states, the Robert Sundance law took effect. Treatment, not jail, now is the answer.
We have a shower.
Crisis centers such as United American Indian Involvement in Los Angeles, one of hundreds of detox centers where Robert Sundance is a legend and an inspiration.
If he can sober up and do what he's doing now, there's a chance someone else sober up, like myself.
Robert Sundance has been sober for 17 years, and he has dedicated his life to all of you in recovery.
Last weekend at an Olympics for recovering alcoholics, Robert Sundance was honored, but he couldn't be there. Robert Sundance won the battle against alcohol, only to lose a battle to bone cancer. He is slowly dying.
Well, the spirit is there. I just wish I had the energy to go with it.
If he does not survive this battle, Sundance wants to be returned to South Dakota for a traditional burial, a warrior in the modern Indian wars against alcoholism. That's Nightly News for Friday. I'm off to distant mountains for a while. I'll see you when I get back.
Do you know what the